Shiv Sena, who are carrying out a Savarkar Gaurav Yatra across Maharashtra, are unrelenting in their attack on Rahul Gandhi and Uddhav Thackeray. This time, Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis reminded Rahul Gandhi that not just his grandmother, but in fact his grandfather, Feroze Gandhi, had also spoken up for Veer Savarkar, the polar opposite of what the former Congress president is now saying. He is still sticking to Gandhi hu Savarkar nahi, calling V.D Savarkar sorry worker. But his grandparents thought very differently. The question to him was, is Mr. Gandhi blind to the thoughts of his own ancestors whose surname he carries?
पाण्याची शिक्षा भोगत असताना त्या ठिकाणी ही स्वातंत्र्य लक्ष्मी की जय म्हणणारे हे बंधू आणि म्हणून खऱ्या अर्थानं 11 वर्ष त्या काळ्या पाण्याची शिक्षा त्यांनी भोगली आणि ही भोगत असताना हे खोर लोक जे सांगतात त्यांनी माफी मागितली. अरे पोरांनो, ते बघा त्यांनी काय लिहिलंय. अरे तुम्ही सावरकरी नाही आणि तुम्ही गांधी नाही, हे नकली आडनाव घेऊन तुम्ही जे गांधींचं त्या ठिकाणी सांगता आहात, तुम्ही गांधी नाही. जे तुमचे आजोबा होते त्यांनी देखील सावरकरांना त्या ठिकाणी सन्मानित करण्याच्या प्रस्तावाला समर्थन दिलं होतं.
Let's in fact now give you a few examples of when the Congress's tallest leaders in the past have hailed Savarkar or stood up for him. In 1957, Feroze Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi's grandfather, supported a bill to recognize Savarkar's service to the country. In 1964, the Congress government in Maharashtra granted a relief of 300 rupees per month to V.D Savarkar for his treatment. It was this time when he was old and ailing and resided in Maharashtra. In 1965, the Congress government at the centre, led by Lal Bahadur Shastri ji, released 3,900 rupees to help in Savarkar's illness, and this money came from the Home Minister's Fund. Remember, this is the 1960s, where 3,700 rupees, 3,900 was a princely sum. In 1970, the Indira Gandhi government released a postal stamp in the memory of Veer Savarkar. In 1980, she even wrote a letter hailing Savarkar as India's brave son and even commissioned a documentary on his life. In fact, just 4 years ago, here is what former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh himself had to say about V.D Savarkar. The question then is, if everyone from Feroze Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, Lal Bahadur Shastri to even Dr. Manmohan Singh recognize V.D Savarkar's contribution to the country, is this a history that Rahul Gandhi is unaware of?
And as far as Savarkar is concerned, you would recall that Indira Gandhi had issued a postal stamp in commemorating Savarkar Jibe. So we are not against Savarkar Jibe, but the question is, we are not in favor of the Hindutva ideology that Savarkar Jibe patronized and stood for. As far as the case of being referred to the government, I think since we are not likely to be in government, the issue will be settled by the government when the case comes before the committee which looks into these matters.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, Tuhin A Sinha, spokesperson of the BJP, continues with us. We are joined by Shailesh Pandey, spokesperson of the Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray faction, Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress, and Vivek Srivastava, political analyst. Lokesh Jindal, so the history is pretty clear. I actually want to show you the stamp that was issued in honor of V.D Savarkar by Indira Gandhi. On the stamp, V.D Savarkar, on the 28th of May 1970, is referred to as a freedom fighter and a philosopher. Now, how is it that in 1970, Indira Gandhi thought that V.D Savarkar was a philosopher and freedom fighter, but in 2020, her grandson thinks he's sorry worker?
Good evening, Padmaja. First of all, you stated one fact wrong about Feroze Gandhi. In 1957, it was Raja Mahendra Pratap. He was an independent
Feroze
MP.
Gandhi supported the bill. I will put out the exact quotes also. Can you please address the stamp?
Please let me.
Or are we just going to sit here to obfuscate? Okay. Let me read out. Don't worry. I have stated nothing wrong. I will read out to you the exact fact. Here is what the fact is. On 22nd November 1957, during proceedings in Lok Sabha, Raja Mahendra Pratap, an independent MP from Mathura, moved a bill to recognize the service to the country of people, namely Shri Veer Savarkar, Shri Barindra Kumar Ghosh and Dr. Bhupendra Nath Datta. The Deputy Speaker allowed the bill to be introduced, but objections were raised by the Congress members. However, Feroze Gandhi, the grandfather of Rahul Gandhi, supported the argument of CPI MP and left stalwart A.K Gopalan, saying that the move must not be stalled. That, is the fact. Now, can we stop arguing ad nauseum about something which is very clear? Answer to me a simple question. In 1970, if Indira Gandhi calls Veer Savarkar a philosopher and a freedom fighter, how does he become sorry worker for her grandson in 2023?
Padmaja, first of all, Feroze Gandhi, he supported A.K. Gopalan over the issue that once a bill has been permitted by the Deputy Speaker, it cannot be negated by the Assembly.
Yes,
please
and
get
the bill
correct.
Subsequently was moved with the assent of Feroze Gandhi. Can we now move on to the stamp?
Gandhi supported Savarkar. No. This is something which is wrongly informed.
Mr. Lokesh Jindal, are you deliberately wasting time because you don't want to answer the stamp?
Why this wrong information is being spread that Feroze Gandhi had supported Veer Savarkar when there is nothing like that?
I have literally quoted to you verbatim what happened. Mr. Jindal, are you going to answer the stamp or are you just going to sit here for the next 15 minutes and deliberately waste time?
You are reading the information wrong.
I am not.
It was A.K. Gopalan.
I just read it out that Feroze Gandhi supported A.K. Gopalan in having the move.
In 1957. No. After,
okay, Mr. Lokesh Jindal, you deliberately are wasting time. Now I'm absolutely convinced.
Give me 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds.
No, 30 seconds, you're wasting 30 seconds by repeating what I have just said.
After Mahendra Pratap had moved the resolution, the Congress ministries, they had voted not to include this particular bill. Against this A.K. Gopalan, he had criticized that the bill must be allowed to be introduced because it had been permitted by the Deputy Speaker. At this point of time, it was Feroze Gandhi who stated that once Deputy Speaker permits a bill to be introduced in the parliament, it cannot be refused by the assembly. He did not mention that he is supporting the bill where Veer Savarkar and others, they should be considered as martyrs. Secondly,
are you happy with repeating what I just said? Now can you answer?
Another is the stamp issue.
Yes.
So let me tell you.
Yes.
The stamp issue was a long issue. Since 1965, there were demands that the stamps must be introduced. However, the minting and the press, because at that point of time, the stamp paper was imported. So that is was being delayed, and when Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister, she permitted that, okay, fine.
Why did
those
she permit?
Who had contributed,
if he was a sorry worker, she should have said to hell with it. I am not going to let this traitor be on a stamp of the Indian Union.
No, prior to 1910, Savarkar was indeed a patriot. He became a politician only after 1924.
We're talking about 1970, sir. 1970.
I know, but
Mr. Savarkar is dead.
The life of Savarkar.
Mr. Savarkar is dead in 1970. And just by the way, I don't think you listened to what else I said. In 1965, Lal Bahadur Shastri ji, his government at the center, and the Maharashtra government at that time, which also was a Congress government, released money for the treatment of Veer Savarkar. Now, unless you are saying that the governments at that time were paying for a traitor, then maybe they were just those kind of governments who pay for traitors.
Savarkar had indeed apologized to the British. It is a fact.
I am asking you, sir, why did Indira Gandhi release a stamp calling him a philosopher and freedom fighter? Why did Lal Bahadur Shastri's government give an amount of 3,900 rupees? Why did the Congress government give relief of 300 rupees per month to V.D. Savarkar if he was a traitor?
See, prior to 1910, V.D. Savarkar
this is 1965. 1965.
And after 1924, in his life, he started having a different view altogether. he started supporting a Hindutva ideology
In
and after becoming the
1965,
president of Hindu Mahasabha.
Once V.D. Savarkar died,
So,
was he
when we
Savarkar,
are
sorry
calling
worker
him-
according to you, or was he a patriot?
When we are calling Savarkar, when we are commemorating a stamp for Savarkar, we are considering his contribution prior to 1910.
Acha.
But
So
when
in
Rahul Gandhi
1970,
says,
when you make a stamp, then maybe she could have put like a little thing, an asterisk niche and said, this is for philosopher and freedom fighter, conditions apply before 1910.
I think that could have been done.
But Indira Gandhi didn't have your wisdom, Lokesh ji. If only.
No.
She didn't
Since
have your wisdom.
you are advising it, since you are advising it, that's why I am saying
See,
that it
that's
could
the
have
thing.
been done.
That's
Had you
the
been
thing.
there,
That's the difference.
had you been there,
Tuhin
that could have been considered.
I don't know what further to say here. But apparently the stamp and the relief amount was because of what Savarkar ji did pre-1910. After 1910, he was sorry worker.
Yes, after 1910, after 1924, when he was released from the prison,
When Congress comes back
had
in
a
government,
different
you should put a
conduct
counter
altogether.
stamp, Lokesh Jindal. Post 1910
why
stamp,
should we
sorry
do
worker.
that? No, why should we
Tuhin
do that? We
Tuhin
shouldn't
Sinha,
be-
go on. No, but on a serious note, Tuhin Sinha.
Padmaja, it is very clear now. Padmaja, it is very clear now that with his obsessive vilification of Savarkar, Rahul Gandhi has disgraced his own legacy and disowned his own pedigree. You know, Indira Gandhi, Feroze Gandhi, in fact, the Congress legacy of Lal Bahadur Shastri, all have acknowledged the contribution of Savarkar to our freedom movement. But when Rahul Gandhi is at war with his own ideology, with his own legacy, such a man can only be a liability for the country. Today, I want to extend it a little further. You know, even if for a moment, let's suppose, you know, Rahul Gandhi has a right to criticize, what gives him the right to criticize? Does the Congress have fiefdom over India's freedom struggle? India's freedom struggle started way back in 1785 with Tilka Machi. Congress was born 100 years after that. Did this Congress ever support revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh or Rajguru? So what right does Rahul Gandhi have to criticize any freedom fighter when his own contribution to this country is zero? And finally, where does Rahul Gandhi get all this courage from? From people like Uddhav Thackeray. Let me remind you that in 2005, when Manishankar Iyer had said something similar about Savarkar, then Bala Saheb Thackeray had garlanded his portrait with chappals. This time, in 2019, just before the formation of the Agadi, in September 2019, there is a public video of Uddhav Thackeray saying that if Rahul Gandhi ever criticizes Veer Savarkar again, I will beat him up. 2 months later, in November 2019, they formed the Agadi, and from then, Rahul Gandhi hurled umpteen abuses at Savarkar, but Uddhav Thackeray did not have the courage to pull out of the government. So people like Uddhav Thackeray are responsible for giving courage to Rahul Gandhi to carry out his stupid remarks.
And Shailesh Pandey, just by the way, 2 जनवरी 2020, उद्धव जी आज कह रहे हैं कि सावरकर जी का अपमान नहीं सहेगा हिंदुस्तान। 2 जनवरी 2020 जब उद्धव जी कांग्रेस के सपोर्ट से मुख्यमंत्री थे, तब कांग्रेस सेवा दल ने अपने भोपाल के अधिवेशन में एक पैम्फलेट सर्कुलेट की। उस पैम्फलेट में क्या लिखा था? पैम्फलेट में लिखा था दैट विनायक दामोदर सावरकर इज इन अ होमोसेक्सुअल रिलेशनशिप विद महात्मा गांधीज असैसिन नाथूराम गोडसे। बुक का टाइटल क्या था? वीर सावरकर कितने वीर। यह पैम्फलेट कांग्रेस के सेवा दल ने बांटी थी अपने अधिवेशन में। उद्धव जी ने तो नहीं छोड़ा उनका साथ।
नहीं जी, देखिए उस वक्त भी हमारे शिवसेना पार्टी की जो भूमिका थी वो स्पष्ट तौर पे थे। उस वक्त हमारे जो प्रमुख नेता संजय राउत जी ने तुरंत मीडिया में आकर विरोध किया था। मैं एज अ शिवसेना प्रवक्ता मैंने मीडिया में राहुल गांधी के उस वक्त क्या और कांग्रेस सेवा दल के इस कृत्य का हमने विरोध दर्ज किया था। संजय राउत जी ने यहां तक किया था कि राहुल गांधी जी को ये पुस्तक पढ़नी चाहिए सावरकर जी के बारे में, वीर सावरकर जी के बारे में, क्योंकि वीर सावरकर जी स्वतंत्र वीर हैं, वो क्रांतिकारी हैं और हमारे लिए आराध्य देवता है।
और अभी मालेगांव में 5 साल तो पुस्तक पढ़ने के लिए बहुत होता है।
ललकार के कहा
5 साल में तो आदमी पढ़ लेगा ना पुस्तक।
हमारे लिए आराध्य देवता है,
पर तब से वो अब तक पुस्तक पढ़े जा रहे हैं और सॉरी वर्कर बोले जा रहे हैं।
इस पे राजनीतिक रोटियां सेक रहे हैं। पद्मजा जी, इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूं ना, मेरा ये भी सवाल है कि जो इस पर राजनीतिक रोटियां सेक रहे हैं वो क्यों नहीं स्वतंत्रवीर सावरकर जी को भारत रत्न प्रदान करते। ये हमारी मांग है। अच्छा। ये महाराष्ट्र की जनता की, पूरे देश की जनता की, देशभक्त जनता की मांग है कि स्वतंत्रवीर सावरकर को भारत रत्न दिया जाए।
एक काम कीजिए ना, आप तो अब कांग्रेस के साथ अलायंस में है, कांग्रेस की सरकार बनवाइए केंद्र में और तब कांग्रेस की सरकार से दिलवाइए आप भारत रत्न। क्या पता वो भारत रत्न में सॉरी वर्कर पोस्ट 1910 लिख करके दे देंगे।
देखिए आदरणीय उद्धव साहब ठाकरे जी यदि देश के प्रधानमंत्री बनते हैं तो सबसे पहला काम हम उनसे मांग करेंगे कि वो भारत रत्न दें स्वतंत्रवीर सावरकर जी को, और वो अवश्य देंगे। ये क्योंकि हमारी विचारधारा है और हम अपनी विचारधारा से हटने वाले नहीं हैं।
जैसे कि उन्होंने मुख्यमंत्री बन करके सावरकर की इंसल्ट स्टॉप कर दी, वैसे ही भारत रत्न भी मिलेगा। बट बाय द वे, आई ऑल्सो वांट टू ब्रिंग इन विवेक श्रीवास्तव. The entire allusions to V.D. Savarkar is not just from the Congress. It is also from the left, where 2 days after Savarkar's death, some members of the Bharatiya Jansangh and Praja Socialist Party requested the Lok Sabha Speaker for a reference of condolence. The Speaker rejected it. Subsequently, it was CPI MP H.N. Mukherjee who said, here is what he said, I quote, "The passing away of Veer Savarkar is a matter of such national importance that members of parliament sitting on a day when that happens ought to register our feelings. If we don't do it, it is unheard and unthinkable." This is what a CPI MP coming from the bastion of the CPI, which is Calcutta Central, had to say on the passing away of Veer Savarkar, that if we do not condole his death, it's an event of national importance.
I'll tell you what now. Now see, now I'll tell you what. Now see, let's not see people, events and parties in black and white. That's not the way, and that is what is happening today in debates, and which is not the right way to look at things. I mean, Rajiv Gandhi took care of Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji when he was having strong kidney problems, sent him abroad. Prime Minister Narasimha Rao sent Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji as a representative of the nation to United Nations. Okay. At the same time, we were against the policies of Vajpayee ji. We think he's a great statesman, but we do not agree with this removing the pension. We do not agree with the disinvestment ministry that is created. So, I mean, let's not look into people in black and white. Whether Savarkar is totally black and is totally white. Yes,
but certain incidences of it, which was
specifically not very good, like his Maafinama,
who apologized to the British.
Yes, of course, yes, that was the wrong part of him, but there are other parts of him also which need to be seen. And then you do not hate people. I mean, when somebody is dying and if a member of the parliament says, let the condolence happen, I mean, that is what propriety is.
So you don't badmouth people when they are dead,
that is wrong.
But you badmouth them 30 years later by calling them sorry worker.
No, it's not that. You question. No, sorry worker, yes, what he did was wrong. Anybody can be wrong. Vajpayee ji can be wrong.
But you just said you can't be black and white. That he was also a patriot.
He was wrong. No, that is because, I'll tell you the one reason why the left and the Congress are not able to digest Savarkar. The reason is because the RSS declared itself as a cultural organization, refused to participate in the freedom struggle. Govalkar said Muslims are a bigger enemy of the nation than the British. And Savarkar ji later, now listen to me now. And Savarkar ji later on sided with the same ideology. And that is what he made Hindu Mahasabha do.
So
and
you may
for the
think
partition, Hindu
that he sided with that ideology. But in conclusion, let me read out what one of our tallest prime ministers of India had to say about Savarkar. She said, "I have received your letter on the 8th of May 1980. Veer Savarkar's daring defiance," she called him Veer Savarkar, and said, "daring defiance of the British government has its own importance in the annals of our freedom movement. I wish success to the plans to celebrate the birth centenary of this remarkable son of India." This Prime Minister was Indira Gandhi, and she was replying to a letter written by Pandit Bakhle, who was the secretary of the Swatantra Veer Savarkar Rashtriya Smarak. Subsequently, Indira Gandhi also commissioned a documentary for this daring defiance by the son of India. Now, people can decide who's embarrassing themselves. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, for joining me.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.